Welcome. Today we'll see Linux SSH part 2. So in last session, we have seen how to do the SSH connection from Windows machine to Linux machine and how to enable the password authentication for SSH. And even we just tried doing the password SSH connection from Windows machine to Linux. So it was working fine. So today we'll see from one Linux machine to another Linux machine. Even the password also definitely should work. But today we will see how to connect using the SSH public and private keys. So I have two Linux servers. So in one server, we will generate the SSH public key and private key, and we will copy the public key to the second server, and private key will be in the first server, and we will use those two keys to connect to the Linux servers. So these are the server details. So I have this is server one and server two. In last session we have seen, so each server will be identified by the IP address. So it will have the unique IP address. So first server has the unique IP address of 177.144, and second one is ending with 136.44. And in both the server have installed Ubuntu operating system. So that's why the username is Ubuntu. So here also the Ubuntu username is Ubuntu. And currently I have some private key, so that using that I will connect to the servers. Okay, I have opened two Git bash terminal. So this is first terminal. So currently you can see it's showing welcome. So which means I'm currently in the Windows terminal. So even second one is also on the same welcome. This is also Windows terminal. So we will first connect to the first Linux server. So I'm going to the first terminal. So enter. Okay. So I have connected. So let me clear my screen. So here you can see it's Ubuntu @test1. So let's run hostname. So it's showing test1. So I'm in the first Linux server. Let's copy the second one. I'm going to the second terminal, connecting to 136.44. Okay, so this also connected. So let's run the hostname command. So here it's doing test2. So in first thing, I'm in test1. So and this is test2. Okay. In first Linux server, we will generate the private key and public key, and then we'll copy the public key to the second server, and we will see how to do the SSH. Okay. So before generating the key, I want to just validate whether the connection is not working fine first. So this is the second server details. So I am in the first server, so I will do SSH. Username is Ubuntu @ we'll copy only the IP address of second server. I'm going to first server, paste. So from the first server, I am trying to connect to the second server. Do enter. It's asking yes or no, connect. So it's telling permission denied public key. So actually public key is not matching for this particular keypad, so it's not able to connect. So it's showing still I am in the test one. Okay, question. Now let's generate the public and private keys. So I'm currently in /home/Ubuntu. Okay. In home directory, actually, since I'm already using some keys, there will be one folder called .ssh. Some hidden directory will be there. ls-lart. Here you can see .ssh folder will be there. Let's go inside cd.ssh. Enter. And here currently, this is not very much important, but this is important, authorized keys. So we will see this. So it will generate the keys first. So currently here only these two files are there, nothing else. So let me cd enter. Go to, actually you can generate the keys from any folder, wherever you are there, you can just create. The command is ssh-key check. Type enter. So first it's telling generating public/private key pair. So it's going to generate the key .ssh id_rsa. So by default, the algorithm which is uses RSA algorithm, and that's why it's going to create id_rsa one file. So actually this is the private key. Enter. So, and it will ask whether you want to put some password for this particular key. So whenever if you want to open this file, it will ask for a password, then only we will able to open the file. So, but currently I don't want to set any password. We'll just keep it blank, just enter. Once again, enter. So now even it has created one more file, id underscore rsa.pub, which is the public key for this one. So the encryption between two this is like we will have two files. So let's go cd.ssh, enter. So now it generated two file, id underscore rsa, which is the private key, and which ends with .pub is the public key. Whenever these two file content matches, the authentication is success and the two server can be able to communicate. So in my first server, I already have the private key id underscore rsa, and in the second server, we need to copy this public key. Okay. So before that, before copying, let's go to second server. I'm going to second tab. Let's say host name. I'm in test 2. So I'm in Linux virtual machine 2. So here also we have .ssh folder. Enter. So here we have currently only one file, authorized keys. So here we don't have any keys at all currently. Okay. So this authorized key is very important. So this file name should be authorized keys only. And whenever if you want to connect to any virtual machine, there you need to, I told there we need to put our public key. So the public key content you need to put inside this file only. So within this file, you can keep n number of public keys. So basically, this is my target server, right? So here the authorized underscore keys file is there. If I want to connect from this machine to this machine, this public key I will put it into authorized key. Similarly, from this machine I want to connect to this machine. Here I have generated the new public and private key. I will copy that public key and I will put it into second line of the authorized keys. Similarly, later if you're creating one third virtual machine, so that also if you want to connect to this machine, you can copy that public key and you can copy to the third line of the authorized keys file. So similarly, you can copy n number of public key content to that authorized underscore keys. So I'm going to the second server, which is our target server. So here we have only authorized keys. VI authorized keys. Currently, we have only one key. Actually, even though it's showing like 3 lines, but it's a single line only. The content is very long. Okay. So this is the current, only one key is present in this file. So now we have generated the new key that will add to the second line. Okay, I'm going to the first server. I'm going to copy. So cat id underscore rsa.pub, enter. Just copy so even it's showing test one. So it was generated from the first server. I'm just copying the public content, going to second server, and I'm copying to the second line. Okay, so now the content has been copied. So even if you want to see whether how many lines is there, maybe we can do like set a new, enter. It will show. So first, this whole thing is like just one line, and this is whole stuff is the second line. So we copied the second, the public key to this file. Let's save this file. WQ. Save. So now still we have only authorized keys. So from the first Linux machine, when we do SSH to the second machine now, okay. So now in this machine, I have both public key and private key. And in this machine, I copy the public key to the authorized underscore key files. Now from this one, when I do SSH to the second machine, it will go and search whether the public key is present in that authorized underscore keys file. If the this private key and that public key content matches, then you will be able to connect to this second virtual machine from the first machine. Okay, we will try now. So I'm going to first terminal, cd enter, clear my screen. I'm using up arrow. Okay, this one. So I'm just doing SSH username Ubuntu. There is the second virtual machine IP address, which ends with 44. Enter. That's it. I didn't do anything, just full passwordless authentication. Here you can see it has connected to the second server. Now it's showing test 2. I'm still in the first terminal only, but still it's showing test2. So when you type hostname, it's showing test2. So from the first Linux machine, I'm able to connect to the second machine. Okay. So like this, it was happening. But you can ask, like, even though I didn't specify the private key, how it has connected. Okay. So by default, if you are not specifying any private key, it will take clear. So let's say SS. So currently I'm in test2, right? If you type exit, it will come out of this, basically log out from the second machine, enter. Okay, now I am back to test1. So I am in my first terminal, which is the first virtual machine. Okay. So when I do simply SSH Ubuntu at the rate, the second IP address, it automatically takes the your private key from the uh, .ssh folder, and it will go to the target machine, which is this 44 server, and then it will go to authorized underscore keys file, and it will search whether the public key is matching or not. It will check all the keys. First key it will check, then second key. If this private key and public key matches, then it will properly connect. So let's say even if we have a different key, so how we can connect in that case? Maybe I will quickly do that also. Maybe let's go to second server first. We authorize. I will remove the key which I have added now. Okay, I have deleted the key which we have added. So now if I go to first server, now if I run the same command, it will not able to connect. Permission denied. Okay, so because the public key is not there, this private key and the content will not match, so it's not able to connect from my first Linux machine. Now let's create the public and new public and private key, which is in some other directory. Let's create in a /temp directory. SSH hyphen keygen, enter. So now it's asking where to store the public and by default it stores to .ssh, your home directory .ssh folder. But now I want to create in some other directory. You can create n number of public and private keys set or pass, so that's not a problem. So /temp, and I'm telling ID underscore RSA. Even this naming convention is like you should. It's not mandatory ID underscore RSA. You can give uh, any key. So I will maybe give Linux 2. Okay. Um, enter. Okay, and then it's asking for password, so I don't want to set any password. Enter, and it created a Linux 2 dot public file also. Okay, cd/temp. I'm going to temporary directory. When you do ll here you can see we have two files. Linux 2 is the private key, and Linux 2.pub is the public key. Let's copy the content of public key. Okay. Still, when I do SSH, okay, it's permission. I'm not able to connect. Now cat public key. Let's copy the public content. Copy. Let's go to second server. Vi authorized underscore keys. I'm opening the authorized keys file. Insert mode. Go to the second line. I'm pasting. So pasting the new content. So I saved. Now I'm going back to my first server. Let's clear the screen. Okay. CD enter. Okay. pwd. I'm currently in /home/ubuntu screen. Now even if you try, it will not work because by default SSH appearance, it will go to .ssh folder. It will take ID underscore RSA key, which is the private key, and it will go to the target server and it will try to verify. So both the content are not matching because the ID underscore RSA.pub file we have already removed in the authorized key, so it will not match. The new content which we copied is this one. So this is the private key. This content we have copied to the target. So we have to use this private key so that it can use. But by default, it cannot take this one. By default, it will take it will take this one only by default if you're not specifying which file it has to take. So by default, it goes to .ss and takes this file. So how we can specify our new or a different private key? So you have to pass ssh-i and the folder is /temp Linux 2. So this is my private key and username is Ubuntu @ my second IP address is 44. Paste. Enter. Awesome. So now we are able to connect. Okay. So just the new step is just we have to pass -i and we have to pass the full path of the our private key file. So then you will be able to connect. So now I am in Linux 2. You can see it's Linux 2. Sorry, test 2. Host name. You can verify it's test 2. Now we will come out of this system. Exit. Enter. So now its connection is closed. 144.44 is closed. So now I'm back to first virtual machine, which is just one. Let's clear the screen. Okay, so we have seen from one Linux machine to another machine how to connect using the default public and private key. And even if our private key is in different folder, how to connect. We have seen this things. Now we'll see one more important thing. Whenever do the SSH, right, actually, if you want to talk to any server, we already discussed. Let's say from first machine to second machine, we are connecting. So in the second machine, there should be some processes running, right? Sudo systemctl status SSH. So this is the process which is the open SSH server. This is the background process which is keep on running. So from the client, anybody comes to this server and if they ask for port number 22, so this process is running and listening for port number 22. So if they look for port number 22, then it will give this terminal to the whoever is asking. So basically, this process just listens on 22 port number and it will able to give the connection. Okay. By default, when you run this SSH command, I'm in now terminal 1, the Linux machine 1 now, SSH Ubuntu. Actually, we have used -i/temp/Linux2. Ubuntu @ well, let's put the, sorry, let's clear the screen. SSH-i/temp Linux2. Let's put the second server IP address, which is 44. Okay. Ubuntu @ okay. Ubuntu @ IP address I have paste. By default, if you give automatically after this 44, right? I told the target server listens on 42. By default, it happens 22 here. So :22. Whenever you want to talk to any server, it's basically the IP address : the port number. Sorry, actually we should not directly put like :22. Actually, it listens on port number 22. So it actually directly go to the second server and just pings that server with port number 22 by default. So when I press enter, it's able to contact. It's able to connect. Okay, but this is not a very good security practice because like this server is like public, right? So most of the people knows this server will be open by 22. Anybody can, even they will not able to log into this server, but they will keep on trying this IP address and they will like hit this port number 22, 22, 22. So our server will get very much loaded. So whenever we work on some organization, it's a best practice. We will change this port number. By default, it listens on port number 22. How we can verify? Let's go to second server. So because this only we are going to connect, right? So we already know that SSH to the configuration file. So actually we have seen how to enable the password, right? Sudo vi/etc sshd_config. So this is the file where all the configuration of the parameters available for this SSH. Enter. Now, if you come here, so here we have seen the port 22. So by default, this SSH service listens on port 22. Okay. Port 22, we can change this port. We even have documented here. So how to customize the SSH. Okay. So let's change this to port 822 and we'll see how we can talk to that server. I'm going to server 2. First thing, we will uncomment this line and change this 22 to 822. It depends. Like most of the organization, not like 822, they will have some random number also. They will try to keep, and that they will not publish it because other people will not able to know, right? They will, even from other people, they will not able to touch this server also. They, if they touch on 22, it just connection refresh only. It will not able to just ping to the, even just it will not send any request to the server also. It's so even like most of the private organization, most any organization, they try to keep some different ports for this SSH. Okay, let's save this file. And after this, we have to restart our SSH service. Sudo systemctl restart SSH. So I'm doing everything in the Linux server 2. Sudo systemctl restart SSH. Okay, so now I have restarted. Let's check the status. So now it has restarted 8 seconds ago. So now it is running, and which will take the new configuration from this file. So now this process is running on port number 822. Okay. So even here it's showing, see, in the log showing it's running on port 822. Maybe before we have seen, maybe that logs is not there because now the configuration has changed. It's clearly telling it's running on port number 8222, not on port 22. So now if we go to first server, so I mean first server, now if I do like same SSH command, SSH. Sorry, currently this is in test 2. Let's type exit. Okay, I am in now test 1. So I am in first terminal and I'm in first Linux machine. Even we can just confirm with host name. It's test 1. Let's SSH hyphen I slash temp Linux 2. Username is Ubuntu @ and the IP address is this one. Second machine. Okay, enter. So it's telling connection refused because by default it's trying to connect on the port number 22. So it will not able to connect. So that's why connection refused. Even though our public key is properly correct, it is not able to connect to the target server. And even clearly stating it's trying to connect to the target server on port 22. But how you can specify the different port? So for that we have option -p. -p we can give 8222 space. So first the command is SSH, then -i your private key, and then -p your port number. If it's 22, you no need to specify. It uses the default 22. But if it's different, we need to pass. And after that, your username @ your IP address. Enter. No route to host. Something is wrong. -p 8222. Correct only. Maybe let's try putting before -p 8222. No route SSH to host. Actually speaking, it should work. In the second machine, we have changed. Okay, I got it. This has some, actually we need to open some this port number 222, then only it will work. Okay, I will do the reverse way now. I will try to do the same thing from my, so this is my test 2, right? I will close this terminal. Okay, I closed this one. So now I have only the first terminal. Okay, this is my test 1. Okay, what I will do, I will connect from my Windows machine to this server. Okay, so basically what I'm going to do is this is my Windows machine. From this Windows machine to this machine, I will connect on port number 822. But currently this server is still running on 22. Okay, let's change that configuration. Sudo /etc ssh d_com sudo vi config. So slash etc ssh sssd underscore config. Okay. So this is the first server, right? The first server, this is but still it is port 22 only. You can see. So let's change this to 8222. Save this one. Okay. Now restart. Sudo systemctl restart ssh. So it's restarted. Now let's check the status. It's showing running 5 seconds ago. Now even my first server is listening on port number 8222. Okay. Yeah. Okay. It's running fine. And even in this first server, I have enabled that port number 8222. In second server, I didn't enable, so it was not able to connect. So and let me in. This is my Windows, right? So I'm opening my new terminal. Okay, so I'm in my Windows machine. Here you can see this is my welcome. So this is my Windows laptop. I'm in Windows laptop terminal. So from this, I'm going to connect to my Linux machine one. Okay, I'm going to use this one now. I'm going to from my Windows, I'm going to connect to first server. Okay, let's try by default. Actually, I have some private key for that one, which is in my Windows machine in downloads folder I have. So that's a passing downloads folder, and this is my private key file, which connects to server one. This is the in authorized key, you see the first public key, right? So this is the private key for that one. Okay, I'm going to second terminal. This is my Windows. I'm pasting SSH. Okay, I'm passing SSH -I and my private key and username and 114. Okay, this is my first server. If I do enter, it will not work. It says connection request because it's trying to connect on 22, but we have changed the port number. So let's pass -p 8222. Enter. Ta-da! Worked, right? So from my Windows machine, before we can see it was in welcome, but now it was Ubuntu other test1. From my Windows machine, now I am connected to my Linux virtual machine 1, but not on port number 22, it's port 822. So like this, you can customize a lot of things, like you can enable and disable the password, authentication or not, and then whether you want to change the port, even a lot of customization is there. And by default, we are now log into this Ubuntu user, right? Maybe by default, you cannot log in with root user. Like you, when you do SSH, you cannot specify root at the rate IP address. You will not able to do. Just by default, that is enabled /etc ssh d underscore config. If we go down, okay. So permit some argument will be there. So root admin. Okay, I forgot actually, but some option will be there. Even by default, you will not able to log into root user, but some parameters will be there here that you can come and change, and then you will able to log into the server using root user also. Okay, thank you. Bye bye.